Wrist pain is no joke. It can take you totally out of commission and it can creep up on you just like that. Today, we're talking about one of the best ways to bulletproof your wrists. So, how do we do it? First, I want to say this. If you already have wrist pain, this is not something that you should be doing to begin with. This is a strategy for training to help you build up the strength to eventually withstand anything. Okay? So what is it? It is something called the false grip. The false grip. Mostly and usually performed on rings, and you will get the best results when you perform it on rings. Okay? How do you do it? Well, you'll take your rings, and what you want to do is find the crook of your wrist. That's right where the ulna bone on your pinky side of your forearm meets with the crease of your wrist. Okay? Take that crease of your wrist inside the ring. You're going to set that part down on the ring and make a little bit of a shelf with your wrist. Once you have that, you're going to press into it a little bit with your forearm and the top of your wrist into the ring, and then you're going to wrap your hand around and close your fingers over the ring. So it should be a sort of closed, almost 90-degree angle that you're making with your wrist and your forearm. Alright? How does this work? Well, the magic of this is actually that it trains all of the muscles surrounding your wrist, in your hand as well as your forearm, to actually get your wrists, and most joints for that matter, to be bulletproof and to stop from hurting. The key is to strengthen the muscles around them. And that is exactly what we're doing with the false grip. Previously, we've explored doing this on the other end of the range of motion of your wrists with the stab. This is the flexion range of motion, the extreme end of it, what we're training here. Okay? So, our strategy for moving forward with this, what is it? Well, since we've never tried this, first you're going to just practice doing it. You're going to practice getting into the false grip position, and slowly but surely, so it might look like working up in time, you're going to practice just hanging. Okay, much like with our pressing version of the extension and the stab, all of our weight was on our wrists as we were just balancing and controlling with the wrist. This is the other way. You're holding, but all of the weight will be on your wrist, just in a pulling range. You will be controlling it. So, once you are good enough at this to just hold yourself up, then you're going to start actually pulling. Okay, so you want to actually be able to be strong enough to hold the false grip position as you're moving in and out of different ranges. So first, it could be just holding is what you need, but it could also be that you hold the position and rotate your arms from internal to external and back, something like that. Just practicing different ranges can help you get time under tension with the false grip, so that you're building that neural pattern, as well as building the neural pattern together with muscles that you will eventually be using. And that's exactly what is needed for the pulling. Okay, so just hanging is first, hanging with a pull is second. Okay, I would say work up to being able to do reps of holding the false grip and pulling in a pull-up position and turning the rings in toward your chest, almost like you're hugging a blanket super tight. Once you're good at that, and you can do that for, say, like 6 to 10 reps comfortably, then you should start progressing to learning the transition from the top of the pole to the bottom of a press, also known as the muscle up. How do you do this? Well, as soon as you get to that pole and you have hugged the blanket, so to speak, as tight as you possibly can, you have to quickly change from an internal rotation of your arms to an external rotation so that your fists are right by your armpits and the rings have turned out now. This should make it so that your chest is just over where your arms are and you can now press. So you're changing the position while still transmitting force through the wrist joint. You're changing that position, continually transmitting force to a position of pressing instead of extreme pulling. Okay, so it's two different extreme ranges, two ends of two different extreme ranges, but it's extreme on the wrist nonetheless, which is what we're looking for. Okay, we're trying to target the end ranges to build mobility, which is strength, as you know by now. So you're pulling in, internally rotating, and then you're quickly flipping out and getting your chest over where your arms are. That's all that's needed for targeting the wrist in this particular movement. Program that however you need, but as far as our 3 tiers go to work on this, we have hanging in the false grip with your full body weight, hanging on your full body weight, and then pulling up to the top of your pulling range, and then doing both of those two things, starting from the bottom of your hang, pulling all the way to the top of your pulling range, and then transitioning to the very bottom of your pushing range directly from your pulling range, all together, all while using your false grip. Okay, so again, the whole point of this is to accrue time under tension and use the false grip in movements that it will complement. Okay? As another option for you, you can do this backwards. You can work this eccentrically. You can use a ladder, step up all the way, get up to the bottom of your pushing range, and work from there down. So you could transition from your bottom push to the top of your pull and then slowly let down all the way until you're full hanging, all the while keeping your false grip. Just another option. Okay? So program this however you need to, work up to it however you need to. Let me know how it goes. I'm Master Hogan. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below. I'll see you next time. Take care.